Hey everybody, Vickie here, Law of Attraction Business and Book Coach. And today is Training Thursday. Yay! I really enjoy this time that I get to spend with you guys, and I hope that you enjoy the things that I've been talking about on Thursdays. Today happens to be a day that we have a topic that somebody has requested. Actually, a couple people requested this, that we talk about how to price your packages. And I added to sell, because that's the point, right? We need to know how to price our packages in a way that we can actually sell them. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And while I am checking on making sure we are live streaming, let's, while you're getting on, say hello to me. I feel like I'm a little crooked here though, but anyways, this is a really cool little necklace. It's almost like a belt, but anyways, we are going to be talking about different ways that you can think about and things that you need to know about to package or to price your packages the way that is going to be good for you and your business. So hold on and I need to make sure we're live streaming in the right place. Okie doke. And sometimes it seems odd lately that Facebook has actually sometimes not been showing me all the time that people are on and that they're asking questions. So make sure that you comment as we go so that I know that it's still streaming right. It's like kind of weird after a few minutes, all of a sudden, like I see no more comments and I think I'm talking to the air and then I have to switch. So anyways, hi Deanne. I'm excited that you're here too. So let us jump into this, okay? First of all, I want to ask you, how have you decided on your prices today? Like, what method did you use that you came to the conclusion for your pricing? Deanne, I'm glad I'm not the only one experiencing that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So then I have to like switch and then I have to open another screen and anyways. So hopefully Facebook will fix that bug really soon. But tell me, how are you doing it? Are you doing it kind of randomly? Are you doing it by, some sort of comparison method? Are you doing it like an hourly type of thing and then multiplying out your sessions? How did you come up with it? So comment and let me know what methods you've been using. I think it's pretty natural since, this is the way we shop, right? Whether we're shopping for shampoo or we're shopping for cars, we comparison shop. So a lot of people will tell me that that's how they decide on their prices. They like kind of go out there and randomly look up certain people. The thing with being a coach is that there's such a wide range. So it's really hard to just go, okay, I'll just do this because everybody else is. That's not always the best way to do things anyway, right? But I was taught up to comparison shop, so I understand it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, right? And I still do that. Don't get me wrong, I still do that for some of the things that I buy, but coaching may not be the best thing to comparison shop on some terms, right? Like, for example, if I really needed to be lactose-free or peanut-free, it really wouldn't matter what the cost was, right? There are some things that there is no comparison to you, of course, right? Because we are each unique. Deanne said, I've been doing the comparison pricing prior to the conference and some coaching from Susie. Yeah, so I get it. We've heard these things. We think this might be a good way to do it. We don't really know for sure what the best method is. And you've probably heard other people, not just me, say, hey, you know what, you're unique. There's truth and then there's not so truth to that, right? We are unique in our stories and our personalities and things like that. There are other book coaches out there, but there's no book coach out there that's like me because I do a bunch of other things. I have a different personality. I also incorporate law of attraction. I also have business functions that I incorporate with the book. So I am different. However, a lot of things that I offer are kind of a commodity. You can find some of these things in other people's courses, other people's coaching and stuff like that, right? But You are definitely unique in you, your story, your personality, your angle, how you say things, how you approach things. And I know you're probably kind of, oh, Vickie, I've heard that before, but I still don't know how to figure this out, okay? So we're going to do a simple exercise. Go grab a piece of paper and a pen. Deanne says, now I'm basing it on my experience and value and also based on my monthly revenue goals. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm going to share a couple other things, Deanne, that you're going to want to take in consideration to pricing that includes not just those monthly revenue goals, okay? So get out your piece of paper, your handy little dandy little piece of paper. So write down some potential prices. I'm just gonna, I don't know, randomly throw some out at you, okay? So generally people are doing 3-month packages, so we'll just go with that. 12 sessions at, I don't know, $1,200. It's easy math, right? All right, yay, notebook ready. Or, 12 sessions for $3,000 or 12 sessions for $10,000. Now you can write your own numbers down. Write different things that have appealed to you or that you've thought of for your packages and pricings, all right? And now as you look at each one, kind of like on your piece of paper, like one at a time. Hey, Stacy, stop at each one. So 12 months at $1,200, stop at that. How does that make you feel? Like, how does it make you feel? Maybe you're excited about it. Maybe you're not really excited about it. Okay, then go down to the next one. So in my example, it's 12 sessions for $3,000. Maybe if you weren't excited about $1,200, maybe $3,000 feels a little better to you. Hey, Angie, does it feel good though? Is it like, okay, it's getting there, it's feeling better, or does it really feel good? Okay. And then maybe look at that 10K. Is it a fist pump kind of thing? Is it like you're really super excited, like yes, yes, yes? Or is it like, oh my gosh, I couldn't ever do that? Which one is it? And maybe you're somewhere in between. So whatever numbers you have written down, go each of them down, one by one by one by one. Hey, yeah, Angie, it's been a while, yeah, but I'm glad you caught us today. So if you think about it, whatever feeling you're coming up with, right? Whatever feeling you're coming up with for each of those numbers, your pricing can't be too low, right? If you're groaning and you're kind of like, oh, that's painful, that's not going to be good. And your price can't be too high, or it's going to be like, and you're not going to be able to spit your price out when you're talking to somebody, right? Hey, Valerie. So what you want to do, give me some comments too about how you're feeling with those pricing. Is it like, do you have some that are like that? Or is some of them like, oh my gosh, that's horrible, right? And let me tell you, while you're giving me comments on that, I want to tell you about a client that I had who was charging about for 3 months, $1,000. Okay. Deanne says exciting and also a bit daunting. Okay, cool. That's a good feeling. Exciting is a good feeling. A bit daunting, it's okay. Now, the question is, Deanne, can you spit out the price? Can you actually say it and be confident and feel good about it? So I had a client who was charging about $1,000 for 3 months, and she kept saying she just can't get any clients. No one's saying yes. And, she was kind of dragging. Valerie says not easy to give a price. Which part of it is not easy, Valerie? Let me know. Give me a little more insight into that. And, I asked her, how does it actually make you feel? Like that $1,000 for 3 months, how does it make you feel? Would you dread those sessions? Would you feel a little annoyed with the person or bitter about having to work during that time or give up that time to that person for that little amount of money? Would it really feel worth your effort to actually promote a package that was $1,000? And she got this look on her face like, ugh, I dread it. I hate it. I can't stand the thought of actually having somebody buy this package. So it was like, uh-oh, right? It's like, Houston, we have a problem. Because if you're feeling like you dread this number and you are hoping nobody takes it because, you don't really want to work for peanuts, then you're not going to sell it. You're not going to sell it because it's not in alignment with you. And the interesting thing is she raised her prices and it felt a lot better. And then she went and sold one. Go figure, right? As soon as that price is in alignment and it makes you feel good and you can produce the value, right? Then you don't mind. You are excited to get on that call with your client and talk to them about what they can do and, the value that you offer and all that stuff, because you know that time is being well spent for the money exchange, because money is an energy exchange, right? So when the money is exchanged, you got to feel good about it. You have to be excited about it. And you have to know too if the number is too much. Stacy says they will dread the number too. Yeah, you need to know as well, if you dread it too much, whether it's too high or too low, the same outcome is going to happen. You're not going to want to sell that package, right? Too high, and you sit around with too many fears of, is it worth it? Is it going to be enough? Am I going to deliver enough? Blah, 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 right? You got all that stuff going on. When it's too low, you don't even want to get out of bed to do it. You're hoping that the client cancels on you because you don't even want to talk to them because it's such a waste of time, right? So I'm assuming, and I'm going to assume, that you understand your value at this point, right? We all have great value. I don't know anybody that I've met or is in my group or any of the conferences or events that I have been to who doesn't offer great value. And what you need to think about is, what is someone going to gain by working with you? If I invest $3,000 or if I invest $25,000, it doesn't really matter how much it is. I have a certain expectation of how much I'm going to get out of it that's going to not just give me back my investment, but then 2, 3, 4, 10-fold it as I go, because I will take action on it, right? You better believe I'm expecting that I'm going to make it back if I take the appropriate action. And that's always the thing. I was actually having a talk with Deanne a little bit earlier today about how it's so interesting to me that people will sign up for things and pay for things and then not fully take action or not fully take advantage of everything that's offered in a course or an event or whatever. It's just interesting how the statistics are about people not completing their courses. So anyways, that's a whole different story. But you need to make sure that you're going to take the appropriate action to finish, and you need to make sure your client's going to take the appropriate action to finish, and that's where you know that value is going to happen. Now that we kind of have this feeling of, okay, is it too high, too low? Is it, it's kind of like Goldilocks, right? Is the porridge too hot, or is it too cold, or is it just right? Now, you might be thinking, I can't, there's like a little bit of like wiggle room in there. I'm not sure exactly where is right. So this next thing might really help you out. Deanne already mentioned some of the things that she used, and I want to add to that. And it's something that we don't usually talk about when we're talking about package pricing. We look and we like divide by 12 and let's come up with an easy number, right? Or we decide on, all my friends are charging this amount, so that seems good to me. So it's the price of your client acquisition. How much has it cost you to get that client? And this is the thing I think a lot of people just kind of, it's out there. And I'm not exactly sure why. But do you know how much it costs you to get one client in? So comment below if you know. If you don't, there's no shame in it, okay? It's okay if you don't know, and if you don't know exactly, that's okay as well. But if you have a ballpark, at least that's good to know. As close to, your ballpark can't be like $1,000 off, right? So what's the cost of your client acquisition? You need to know things like your overhead, your computer cost, right? Your electricity, your employee salary, or, you know, your consultants or the people you're hiring on Upworks or Fiverr, or your social media manager, your system monthly fees, and your advertising costs, and all this other stuff. I mean, even some of the setup here, you know, my phone that I'm doing this on, I have a camera as well. I'll show you here too that I have lights so that I can be seen. These are all costs. And okay, I'm going to show you something else so that you guys can all laugh about this. If I turn over here, haha, it's a backdrop. Did you know that my backdrop was fake? So yes, I have a backdrop. So there's all these different things that I get that actually cost money. And I think a lot of people don't get into these things. Stacy says, I need that light. So they have those really big O lights. Gosh, it's not coming to me. I know there's a fancy name for it. Those lights, but because of my glasses, the light glares back at me. So this light is actually really cool because it has a soft glow to it. It has a white umbrella. You can get them on Amazon or eBay. I think I got mine on eBay. And you know, the other day, what did I do? I went, and right now my phone is on a tripod, but I decided that I needed another tripod, so I got another tripod. This isn't really a video about all the things that I bought, but what I'm saying is that there are different things that you don't think about that you buy. Like, I bought this table to have in back of me so it looks nice. This actually was something I already had in the house, and I painted this picture. But I did buy the canvas and the paints, right? So, you know, I'm not saying to be all like nitpicky and stuff like that, but please know your costs and know the things that you want, because that is part of figuring out how much you need to charge for your services. You know, some people have very, very high level videos out there, and those cost a lot of money to make. And if that's the caliber of person that you want to attract, then you're going to have to spend that money, and then that's part of that acquisition cost, right? You also need to know how many hours you're working to get that client in, because we are always the last to pay ourselves in those hours. And I understand that when you're first working and growing your business and starting out, the easiest thing to do is just say, you know what, I have time right now, because I don't have that many clients and I don't have the money. So you kind of have to do that thing where you are trading your time, because you can't hire somebody to do something for you just yet, right? Just yet, because a team is really important if you want to scale. So figure out how many hours you are actually working, track that. I'm not the best about doing that. I have to admit that to you. I think about work all the time. I get excited about things. They pop into my head. I listen to stuff while I'm cooking. You know, I do so many things while I'm doing other things. Even when I'm on the treadmill, I am watching something on my laptop as training, because I am just this like information junkie. But that whole thing aside, you need to know how many hours you worked to get that client in. Don't forget that cost, because if it took you 40 hours to get that client in, and you're going to work now 12 hours one-on-one with them to do this 3-month package, you're actually working 52 hours. You know what I'm saying? And then you got your overhead, right? And you can't work for nothing. I mean, if it costs you $1,200 to get in a $1,200 client, that's not very profitable. Or even if you're trading your time and you're thinking about it, and then you do the math and you're like, okay, 52 hours. And in the long run, maybe it's about the same as flipping burgers at McDonald's. That's not going to make you happy, right? And you can't sustain that for very long. I think a lot of times people end up going out of business because they haven't taken these costs into consideration when they're pricing their packages, right? So if it costs you $300 to get a $1,200 client in, would that be okay with you? Does that feel good? Because you're going to net out $900, right? Plus your fees. Fees for Stripe and PayPal. We can't forget about those, right? It may be better, you know, that's 25%. Is that okay with you? You are the one that has to decide what number is good with you. If it costs you $500 to get in a 10K client, Would that feel good to you? Is that something that would make you happy? You see what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people will tell you that you're going to work the same amount of effort to get in somebody to make a purchase at $500 as you will $1,500 or $3,000. You're going to do the same amount of work. It's going to take the same amount of effort. It's going to take the same amount of advertising. So you might as well go for the higher ticket item, right? There's a certain point that certain product prices don't make sense for your business, and that's something that you have to determine as well. Now, I'm not talking about the lower end tripwire types of things that you would put in funnels. I'm talking about, the larger packages, 500 and over, that you see very often. You have to decide if those are actually going to be profitable for the effort that you're putting into, okay? And here's another thing. By the way, now you've got a good feel, right? You've got that feeling of what would feel good. You've got the idea of your overhead expenses and all the other things that you have to take in consideration. So by the way, what if somebody says to you, wow, that's a lot of money? Or, that's expensive. And, they're going to do this really at any price you have. I promise. Whether it's $250, $500, or $5,000 or $20,000, somebody is going to say, that's expensive. I just promise you they will. What do you say at that point? You guys tell me, what do you guys do when somebody says, that's a lot of money or that's expensive? What do you say? What's our knee-jerk reaction? I need to wait for you guys to make comments. Here, let me look. Let me look to see if there's okay. I just wanted to make sure nobody was commenting and me missing them because Facebook wasn't showing me on my phone. So tell me, what is it that you say? Stacy says eek. Do you really say eek? So if I were to say to you, Stacy, gosh, that's expensive, what would you say? What would you tell me back? What if people say to you, oh, is there a smaller package? Can I modify your package? Can I customize it a little bit? Can you give me a discount? What do you say to those things? I want to know what you guys really say to those things. I'm not going to answer it until you guys tell me what it is that you say when people tell you those types of things. And then I will tell you what happened when I decided to say something. A specific something. So, tell me. All right, Stacy said, I probably compare my value to the others in the market and then restate the value. So, you'd compare your value to others in the market and then restate the value of your product. So, you're standing firm, Stacy, on your product price? Deanne, at this point, I don't lower my price. Good. Yay, Deanne. Okay, so Stacy says yes. Okay, so Stacy, I think what you're saying is that you respond with trying to prove your value to somebody with, I don't know if it's logic or emotion, either way, to prove the value of the product to restate your price. Is that right? All right, so if somebody says to me, wow, that's a lot, or ooh, that's expensive, I just say, yup. And that's it. That's all I say, yup. Because realistically, I don't want to feel horrible later for lowering my price, even if it was an option, which it's not. But I don't want to feel bad later and dislike the client because they went and tried to do that to me. Deanne says, my conversation would be more about what it would, oh no, it just scrolled by, hold on a second. Would be more about what it would really get for them, looking for their driver and the underlying desire. Yeah, good. So yeah, you need to connect it back to their vision, but also, one of the things that I do when I'm looking at things is what I was saying before with, okay, so the price might be let's just go with $15,000. Okay, so the price might be $15,000, and what am I going to get in return for investing that $15,000? I'm going to get systems, I'm going to get knowledge, I'm going to get, all these other things. I'm going to grow my knowledge, I'm going to have more value to the people that I am coaching and stuff. Deanne says, your lack of resources do not determine my value, Susie Carter. Exactly, and I was going to mention that later as well. So really, a lot of times, just being silent is all you need to prove your value. Because your silence shows your confidence that you know that the value is there. I think a lot of times we end up backtracking, going, oh, well, you're getting this, and then you're getting that, and then, blah, blah, blah. And I do go through those things in my head. Everybody does those things, so I don't think we have to redo it for them unless you did something else wrong in the discovery session. So this isn't really a video about discovery sessions, but more about the pricing, right? And I used to get, are there smaller packages? Can I modify it? Ooh, that's really expensive. And, I'm kind of a bleeding heart with a story. I don't know if you know that about me. I'm kind of a bleeding heart because I've been there before. I understand how it is. But as I have gone through business and stuff, I've noticed that the less that I am available for somebody else to dictate how I run my business and how I show up and all those things, the less I am available for somebody else to tell me what to do, the more confident I show up into the world. And yeah, Stacy says, wow, your silence shows your confidence. Yes, it does. All things said, right, that you've done the strategy session right, and they have all the information that they need, and they see the value, and you know your value. There is no need to do all this backpedaling and whatever to try to justify your cost, or value. I mean, you don't have to justify anything to anybody. And as soon as I started going, yep, or like just flat out saying to somebody, I remember talking to somebody at a meeting, and we were talking about doing a press release, and my press releases cost $1,500. I get you guaranteed on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. And is what he said. I was like dying laughing. I know that's mean, but I was at this networking meeting, and he says, so for $1,500, what do I get? And I said, you get a press release, and you get guaranteed to be seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. We will have one chat. I'll put it together, and then I just put it out there into my distribution system, and it gets picked up by all those networks. And he's like, oh, cool. And then you do like 3 months of coaching with me and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, you get a press release. If you want 3 months coaching, it's da-da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, he's like, it's expensive. And I said, yep. That was it. That's how the cookie crumbles, right? So, and it's, at first I felt like, oh gosh, I really need to help all the people who can't afford that, because like I said, I do know. But I have so much value. I offer so much value in these types of videos and things that I do in my groups and many of the other side conversations that I have at meetups that I'm okay with this. You just have to get okay with it as well. Okay? Deanne says, yes, yeah. And remember, like Deanne had said from Susie Carter, their lack mentality doesn't warrant your price being lowered. Your value doesn't change person to person because they've made a comment or that they feel that you're expensive, right? Your value doesn't change. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to talk to Deanne and give her one price, and because VJ told me some story that happened about her. I'm sorry, VJ, I'm just picking you out because you're just right there. I know you don't mind. Tells me some story about her car breaking down, right? And all the bills that she has for her car doesn't mean that all of a sudden my price and my value has been diminished. It just means that VJ has a situation at her house that it might not be the best time for her to invest in this right now, right? I knew, VJ, that you wouldn't care. You just happened to be there. So you see what I'm saying, right? And this is coming from a lack mentality when we decide that we're going to go and change and backpedal and try to do things. So let's tie this all together, okay? So the way that you price your packages, you need to feel really good and excited about the number that you come up with. Regardless of what other comparisons are happening in the industry, or there's always an exception to every rule, right? My programs are not the cheapest programs out there. Mine also are not the most expensive out there either. And Vickie says, it's just no for right now. Yeah, and if they want it, they'll find a way. Exactly. So first of all, start to figure out what price point is making you excited to get on that call with that client, and know that the value that you deliver works with that number, okay? And take into consideration all the pieces to client acquisition. And that's not just advertising and going out to events and costs and stuff like that. It's also the cost of doing business, like your computer and other things that you might need to have, okay? And then remember as well that when you decide on your price, be so much of a, I know that I know that I know that I know that this price is a good price, is a value-laden price, and you over-deliver even at that price, right? That you know, that you know, that you know, that you know. So that when somebody says to you, wow, that's really expensive, or I can't find the money right now, you don't waver. That you just say, yep, it is. Deanne, let me know when you decide that you're ready to move forward. Exactly. Let me know. I know some people are hard sells. Let's just put that out there, right? There are some people who are more of a hard sell, and they're gonna make you feel bad if you can't come up with the money right now. They don't want to let you off the phone if they can't take your credit card. That's just not how I like to do business. It feels icky to me, and I wouldn't want it done to me. So I don't do that to other people, right? So do what feels good for you. And the last question I want to leave you with today is, do you have room for clients in your life? This is kind of a side question to the pricing question. So a lot of people will say to me, I think it's my pricing, or I think it's this, or I think it's that. And my question is always, do you actually want clients right now? Are you excited about having one-on-one clients, or are you more of a group model, or are you more of a course person? Is whatever it is that you think you should be putting out there something that you truly, truly, truly get behind and really want? Do you have room for those clients in your life? Because if you don't, you're in essence saying to the universe, no thanks, God, not right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put out this advertisement, I'm going to put out this email, I'm going to put out this social media post, and I'm going to do this promotion, but really deep down, I don't really want these clients. So regardless of what price you put out there and how good you can be on the strategy or discovery call, if deep down you don't have room for clients in your life right now, you're not going to get them. That was something that I learned very early on, and it's been really interesting for me to see. Vickie says, yes, clients, please. Awesome. So, it's been really interesting for me to see, because my model has been a, how do I say it? Take myself out of the equation kind of model. I want to annuitize my business. I want to scale it. And I can only do so many things in a day, me as one person, right? So I want to do the things that I can't be replaced for, like this video. Nobody else can do this video except for me, right? Nobody else can tell the stories except for me, because I'm the one that knows all the stories, right? So I could get somebody to write some copy for me, but I'm going to have to insert some of those stories. And of course, that's not what I do, because I write copy. Anyways, what I'm saying is there are certain things in your business that only you can do, right? And you have to feel good about the way that you've set up your business model. And if you want more passive income and you want less one-on-one clients, then be aware of what you're putting out into the universe. Do you really want that one-on-one client? Are you kind of like, oh, I really, really, really wish that I could just sell more of my $500 product or my $2,000 product, and I want to work on that to grow my business, versus I want to get 10 new clients in the next 2 months, whatever it is. So really think about that in addition to this pricing that you have, because the way that you close people in the discovery sessions and the strategy sessions is not just about knowing the good package price that works for you and for your client. Your ideal client is never going to, your ideal client is really never going to question that price that you put out there. And then remembering that, you know, any kind of lack mentality is going to get in your way. And then also knowing that if you feel like you don't have room for those clients, you're kind of saying to the universe, to God, going, nah, not right now. So those are the things that are going to help to price your packages and then sell your packages. You guys got any questions? I hope I was clear. I kind of rambled on a little bit here and there, went off on a rabbit trail. But that is what it is, right? And I showed you all the behind the scenes of what actually goes on in my background. So now you know the reason why I have different backgrounds. I do have another one that's being set up with like a chair and whatchamacallit, a little sign that says on air, which I think is really cute, but it's not all set up yet. It's been kind of sitting there for a while. Deanne says, all great info, yay, awesome. Okay, VJ says, missed the beginning, but we'll rewatch. You are very, very welcome. So I'll show you my other, just because I mentioned it and because I feel like it, I guess. This is actually my basement. So this is my area that I actually have painted another wall, and I have stuff that I want to put up, and I have my little on air. The bummer deal is, this is what I found out after I bought this on air thing, is that when I'm on my computer, the computer shows it right, like it actually says on air, but when I'm actually on my phone, which is what this is, it actually shows backwards. So I do not know what I'm going to do about that, because I don't feel like flipping it back and forth. I guess if I use the other one, that means that I always have to be on the computer. Stacy says she's coming over to use my basement. How much for that? You can come over anytime you want, Stacy. This is my other backdrop. So like you can see, this is my backdrop. So when I'm actually standing in front of it, it just kind of looks like this, right? The funny thing is, if you look at this, some of the books look backwards. It's actually kind of funny, and I'm just like, this is odd, because there's no picture in there, there's no picture in there, and that's just how the backdrop was. They kind of look like little things from IKEA, I think. But when I'm standing right here, ooh, see, and this is what happens when the umbrella light is faced the other way. It glares in my glasses, see? And I turn my umbrella light the other way, and then it looks good, right? Yeah, it looks good. So anyways, this is a backdrop. I got it from Amazon. I want to say, oh my gosh, I think it was like 18 bucks. And then I ended up taping this to a different backdrop thing that I have. Okay, like, I was so not prepared to show you all of my basement, but I guess that's what we're doing today just for fun. This is my husband's area and his vision board. But when I got that little frame thing for the backdrop, it really wasn't for the backdrop, it was for this backdrop, which was for photography, because I love photography. My daughter is a minor in photography as well. So anyways, this is a green screen, and there's a white fabric, there's a black fabric, so this was something that came in a kit. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we should be doing some like video background training or something like that, since you guys seem interested in how I've got this all set up. So anyways, that's everything in my basement that's set up for my business. And my dad, when he left the other day, he's like, you have taken up half of the house. And I'm like, no, I haven't. I just have the living room is where my office is. And I just have these little corner nooks in the basement. But anyways, yeah, I do take up a lot of space, but hey, you know, my husband doesn't seem to mind. He gets the garage, right? All right, cool. So I will talk to you guys later. And Deanne says, please do. Okay, well, one day we'll do some sort of video thing if that's what you guys want to do. We can have fun with that. I love that. And let me know if there's any other topics that you want to do. All right, talk to you later. Bye.